Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe in Lagos. Yes, the 24 teams for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, the roster is complete. And of course, you have some surprising teams. Botswana have not been to Nations Cup in 12 years now, but they are at the Nations Cup this time. And of course, we know Ghana would not be making it for the first time. Well, we'll be talking about basketball on the show tonight. Yes, as usual. Yes, it's usual. It's the in thing right now for Rivers Hoopers to always win the NBBF basketball league. The final 8, they are champions again. Of course, they will be representing Nigeria at the Basketball Africa League yet again. We'll talk about basketball on the show tonight. And for the CAF Women's Champions League, not a good one for all the fans of Edo Queens across the world. They lost to TP Mazembe by 3-1. You would say it's the reflection of how the game went. But somehow, when you leave it late, drama can definitely happen. And that's what happened to Edo Queens in the semi-final match. They will have to now play the third place match. While TP Mazembe, for the first time, they are in the final. Remember, Edo Queens are making their debut in this championship and the first Nigerian team to actually get into the semi-final. The third team to represent Nigeria at the CAF Women's Champions League. And of course, yes, Super Eagles is on the menu, and that's where we are starting from because of what happened against Rwanda. Yes, there was nothing at stake, and Nigerians wanted a big sign-out going into the World Cup qualifiers that is in March, and knowing that Rwanda happens to be in Nigeria group, and also the goalless draw they played in the last time. But that wasn't to be. Of course, the Uavs came here stinging the Super Eagles right there at the Uyo Stadium. So reactions coming from that, from the coach Augustine Eguavoin, from the captain William Troost-Ekong, and of course from the coach of Rwanda. Reactions coming from that. But Austin is ready to join us now. Austin?
Always an action-packed sort of sports. Sporting greetings to you, Cecilia, and of course our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. What a story, you know. Yes, it was a dead rubber game, but how can the Super Eagles be losing to Rwanda at a crucial time where we're trying to see some impact with football in Nigeria? Where does this leave us? This is the first time that Rwanda will ever beat Nigeria. Where does this leave us? That's the question, because we're going to play Rwanda again for the World Cup qualifiers. I've been asking loads of questions, Cecilia. Is this result on players' performance? Is it coaching? And then this morning I woke up and I said, it could also be administrative problems. So the NFF gets into it. But then again, wake-up call for all of us that football in Africa is changing. You either go big or you go home. Edo Queens, what a story. I was rooting for them. They were this close, and I'm saying that exactly what they gave to Mamelodi Sundowns was the same bitter pill that they received today from TP Mazembe. But shout out to the girls. They showed that they could fight.
Yes.
It tells you the little thing that is missing. Investment, proper attention. That's what I've been saying. Nobody should come for anybody because it is what you sow, you reap. Cecilia, so much going on in our world of sports. I can't wait for us to get into it and have some fun tonight.
And of course, we are getting into it right away. We're starting off with the Super Eagles. But before that, yes, it's a Tuesday, and Kehinde Idris, of course, is right here in the studio. Kehinde.
It's good to be here, Cecilia. Also, good to see Austin again. And yes, I think I'm looking at the menu and not so happy a day. A day after the Super Eagles lost, with Edo Queens also losing, the semi-final. And when we talk of, development, pushing forward, yes, there is talent. Nobody can doubt the kind of talent that God has, disposed to Nigeria. But there is also something about talent. You need to get
most to the center
and polish it like always. And I think that's where we find it hard to polish those talent. Those who polish the not so talented, setup that they have will look more shiny than we who've got, talent everywhere. There is no doubt Edo Queens have got talented team. There is no doubt the Super Eagles is very talented. But look at the fate. we continue to lose.
Is it investment really, or maybe the players themselves? Edo Queens, I watched that game from the very first minute to the final moment. They had a very, very good game, but somehow it just wasn't to be. It's football. It can happen to anyone. But first, we're going to start up with the Super Eagles. Layi Babalola, a football analyst from Manchester, will be joining us to talk about the Super Eagles. But before he joins us, I'll start off with you right here in the studio. I mean, we saw how Group D ended. Maybe we can just take a look at the slides of how it ended. You know, we'll break that down before we go straight into the Super Eagles of Nigeria, how that Group D ended. If you take a look at from Group A to J, or I mean, how many groups we have? Like J, right?
Yeah.
J. You discover that of all the teams that topped their group, Super Eagles had the least points. Topping group, they had 11 points. I mean, even Comoros that topped their group that has Tunisia had 12 points, one more than Super Eagles of Nigeria. Just imagine. Okay, I don't want to think about it. Okay, just imagine. Austin, I mean, try to imagine. Just maybe the Libya game. We didn't have that triple. Just maybe, and we were asked to replay the game. We'll be on 8 points, right? And then waiting, anxiously anticipating. Oh my goodness, I don't want to think about it. But I think maybe we'll have to look at, you know, after 6 games, how Group D stands before we look at the qualified teams, and then we'll go straight into the Super Eagles of Nigeria. How Group D ended, Super Eagles on Nigeria on 11 points. And then you have the other two, Benin Republic, Rwanda who beat Nigeria, could not even qualify for that. Yeah. Once it's ready, we'll take a look at that. Okay, we'll just take a look at this one right now. That's the final Group D standings, where you have Nigeria on 11 points after 6 games. Now, we'll look at this right now, and you see what I've been talking about. Nigeria on after 6 games, they finished, 11 points. And the goal difference of 6, of course, Benin Republic, no goal difference at all, 0. They are on 8 points. And you have Rwanda also on 8 points, just -3 from here. What do you have? You have 8. You have had 3 teams on 8 points. You have to wait to the final moment to get a ticket. But thank God, we don't have to do that. No calculator or anything. Rwanda, of course, on 8 points after 6 matches, goal difference of -2, losing 2 games. Super Eagles lost 1 game, drawing 2, winning 3. And of course, Libya on 5 points after 6 matches. They won just 1, they lost 3, and they drew 2 games. Of course, goal difference of -3. That's how Group D finished. And when you look at all the other groups, Super Eagles happens to have the least of points in this one. So let's take a look at the qualified teams quickly before we delve into the Super Eagles of Nigeria and what's next for this crop of talented players. How can we get them really playing football? When we say football, play real football, because according to most analysts, what they played against Rwanda wasn't football. I don't know what it was. So let's take a look at the qualified teams right now. 24 all set. Morocco hosts Burkina Faso. You have Cameroon, Algeria, DR Congo, Senegal, Egypt, Angola, Equatorial Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, Uganda, South Africa, and Tunisia. So these are the teams that have qualified. You have Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mali, Comoros, Sudan, Benin Republic, Tanzania. The teams that have qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. There's one big name, 3 times champions that is not actually here. A very big name. Is it 3 times or 4 times champion? Yeah. The Black Stars of Ghana. They aren't going to the Nations Cup. So, Austin, we've seen this over and over and over again. Now let's delve on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What did they play in New York? Was it football or something else?
Cecilia, they played football. You need to calm down. Calm down for the men, Cecilia. They played football, All right. And as I said with my introduction, African football is changing. You better play big or you go home, So, you said something that was really important, and a lot of football fans have been asking me, what if we had played that Libya game and we drew or we didn't win it? Football is spiritual, I keep telling you guys. If it had gone that way, we would have beaten Rwanda silly. I'm telling you, this is not a matter of them say, but because of how it happened, people were complacent. We started hearing definitions like, they were describing it as a dead rubber. We don't need it. We have already qualified. But the fact that there was still some level of bragging rights in it. For instance, we've been calling on Samuel Chukwueze to wake up. he chose that game to wake up. And you can see he didn't really celebrate because he knows that he hasn't given 100% recently to the team. So it's quite unfortunate that what happened against Rwanda happened. But maybe it's the wake-up call, the proper wake-up call that we need. But you know what? Let's listen to Coach Austin Eguavoen. You mentioned Lai Babalola is standing by in Manchester, and you've got Kehinde Idris in Lagos, and I will break down the analysis. Let's listen to Cerezo on the show tonight.
But I feel very sad right now. This was not what we planned for. We scored, and then against the run of play, we conceded. And we tried to change formation. Didn't work. It happened some of those days. And today is one of those days. Consider the second goal, try to change again formation, bring in 2 strikers. It just didn't work. I think Kelechi just needed somebody to build in confidence. He's one player that is an asset to Nigeria. But we've given him a lot of opportunities, but it's not living up to expectation. We can't throw the bad water with the baby away. I think Kelechi needs some encouragement. For the fact that we're playing at home and we're leading the group, I felt, when he comes in, I spoke with him personally, try to get a goal. I'm going to give 45 minutes afterwards, Chukwueze will come in. But the pressure on Kelechi because of the utterances from our people, I think he can't handle it. But I try as much as possible to make him feel comfortable. But it didn't work. Goals win games. We all know that. They're scoring goals in their club size. They're scoring goals in trainings. So when it comes to the game, they don't score goals. We keep asking the same question. Question asking me the same thing I'm asking them. But again, there are some players who can make a difference, who can just put the ball into space for them to go to goal. But we're still looking for such player who has that flair, creativity, who is a good playmaker, who can probably put the balls into space for them. Boniface, we all know, is capable of doing, especially in his club. And then when he comes back here, we try to give him a lot of confidence, a lot of playing time. He's not hitting the back of the net for whatever reason. I've spoken to him personally many, many times. I'm somebody who wants to give players confidence. I've done enough, but he's still part of the squad.
We have to take responsibility. The set piece is now 2 games, 2 goals conceded. It's something that we have to work on. I think also whenever you have some changes in the team, there's some different roles again. But I'll take responsibility as much as I think all of the other players, attackers, defenders, everyone, that we need to do better, because I think set pieces can be very key to a game. I think today a set piece changed the momentum, because I thought before that I can't remember them having a shot on target or working the goalkeeper. So we were caught a little bit off guard there, and something that we need to improve. And if there's one game where it could happen, then this was the game. And from here on, in March and everything else that we got coming next year, there won't be any room for those kind of mistakes. We didn't underrate them. We didn't have any less motivation. Sometimes in football, you play a game, you want to win, and it doesn't happen. And I think today was the case. And I think, like I said before, I don't think Rwanda really was dangerous before this set piece, or even the goal they scored again against Rwanda play. So I think you have to look at it from a little bit more bigger angle. And we missed some things, and they had maybe two chances and scored 2 goals.
That was Super Eagles interim manager Austin Eguavoen and the captain of the team, William Troost-Ekong, analyzing what happened in that embarrassing, disgraceful loss to the Amavubi of Rwanda. Let's go to Manchester. Lai Babalola is a big football analyst standing by to join us on the show. Lai, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Thank you for having me, Austin. Hello, Austin. Hello, Cecilia. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Good to have you join us on the show. You listened to Coach Austin Eguavoen. It was very difficult for him to even explain what happened. What happened in that game against Rwanda?
For me, I just think that, I don't know, maybe it was very difficult for the coach to motivate them to play. I think that they didn't perform well. They didn't raise their game in that game. Maybe knowing that they have qualified for AFCON already is the reason why, that drop in performance. But for me, there's no excuse for that. This is international window this year. There's no international window before March. And we're going to play against Rwanda in March and in September next year. We need to get 6 points off Rwanda next year. And look at the team we're meant to beat next year, getting 4 points off us this year. So, it's very, very sad. And for me, I just think that the players did not live up to expectation. I think that some players did not really show up in that game, and it's a big, big shame.
I totally agree with you. But when you take a look at it, yes, you've mentioned a bit of the coach not motivating the players not also turning up. But I mean, they brought professional footballers and they know the importance of this guy. And off my head, I could count about 6 players that needed to impress. Why didn't they show up?
For me, I just think that maybe, I don't know, to lay my hand on any of those things now is going to be extremely very difficult, because these are guys that play in Champions League, they have played in Premier League before, they are top players. The team we put up against Rwanda is actually was capable of beating Rwanda hands down. But to my surprise, I was really actually disappointed. Maybe it got into their head that, come on, we're qualified already. I don't know. But I also think that there's something wrong tactically too in that game because the way the team set up to, in the second half, I was not really impressed with the way that was set up. So you can point fingers to different things, but it's a big shame for us to lose to Rwanda. This is the first time it's going to happen in our history, and I don't think that we should be having this type of history, in my opinion.
I agree. Let me go to Lagos. Kehinde Idris, when Rwanda scored that second goal, did you watch the rest of the game with one eye closed?
I watched the rest of the game because it's my job to report to those out there how the game went.
Sorry.
If it wasn't my job, I think that's the point where I'll turn off. Although I would have turned off way earlier. I've seen the disconnect of Nigerians from the Super Eagles. But the AFCON seemed to restore a bit of it. And since after the AFCON, it seemed like we're falling back to what we were. So I'm now beginning to agree with some of my colleagues or some friends who felt the AFCON was just that kind of run that you would have unprecedented. It's not the Super Eagles we're seeing. It was just a case of tournament turn up, and then, it went all the way to the final. We capitulated in the final. Austin, I watched the game in Côte d'Ivoire at Abidjan. We saw snippets of what eventually happened in Uyo. It wasn't like they turned up the style in against Benin. It wasn't that way. But we saw maybe, one or two here and there because we needed points. Like I have said, maybe that game still had a little bit of motivation. But after the game, we've qualified. But Austin, you will go back to remember that I say it on this show, like every time I come on here and we talk about the Super Eagles. And like just mentioned something. Come March, come September next year, we need to get 6 points off Rwanda. I said, continue to play like you want to put yourself in a winning realm. That momentum, you go in with that momentum into the World Cup qualifiers. And look at, impossible 6 points in the games in November. We picked 1 point and lost 5. I don't think that's the way we want to get into World Cup. Because see, the moment in your head, you're doubting yourself, you're beginning to have issues. And the Super Eagles are in that point. Look at the coaches even struggling to find words.
We've heard from Coach Augustine Uavav and William Troost-Ekong. Let's hear from the coach of Rwanda, Thorsten Spitzler, talking after that game against Nigeria. How happy he was, despite the fact that they couldn't qualify, but then he's happy that they were able to beat Nigeria on their home court.
It was a very hard match today. I'm very proud about my boys, how they played here in Nigeria. I think it was not undeserved. We defended well, and we also played good football. We haven't had a lot of chances, but sometimes it's like that. As I said before the match, maybe this is today our lucky day. More or less, it's not a lucky day, it's a happy day because we still have not qualified for the AFCON, but I think not a lot of teams will come here and get 3 points. We have expected Nigeria to play as usual in the 3-4-3. They changed the system more. This was somehow a surprise, but okay. My team can handle situations like that. So it was not a big thing. What I told my boys is it's a difficult situation for the Nigerian team because they don't really know if it's a friendly match now or whatever because they have been already qualified. So I told them, don't let them enjoy this evening. And that's what we did.
And of course, it wasn't an enjoyable one for Nigerians and the Super Eagles themselves. They came with a game plan. What was the game plan? They would not enjoy this game. And of course, they didn't enjoy that. You were talking about, the transition of play. I mean, where that disconnect, we didn't have that transition from the defense to attack. There was nothing. As usual, the midfield wasn't anything. I mean, you just listen to what the coach said. We wouldn't let them enjoy. And the game plan they came with. Yeah. And the Arsenal made 8 changes. And that was because we were clamoring for those that haven't had opportunity to play, let them play. Yeah. And he did that. And still, it didn't happen. He even had to throw in at the final moment important players when he discovered that the guys I thought could do the job were not able to do it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we keep talking about how any team of all the 23, any team will put up, should be able to beat teams, at least in Africa. No disrespect to these teams in Africa, but I think these guys are playing with the most technical players around the world. Alassane, Onyedika, so many, they play in top clubs. But
in Rwanda, the bulk of their players are home based. They play in one club. I was trying to remember the name of the club now when I was listening to the coach.
When you invest, there is something about providence. Is
this the investment?
It's the investment.
Let me come to
We'll eventually get to that discussion.
People keep talking about investment. I mean, you've seen talented world-class players. I mean, these top strikers in the world right now. We have the 2 hottest, one of the strikers in the world. They're talking about Demola Lookman and Victor Osimhen. Now, we have these 2 players. These are talent. They're playing in top clubs. What do you need to invest in these kind of players? I mean, everyone keeps talking about investment and sometimes coaching. Now, what we saw against Benin Republic, against Rwanda, is it a coaching problem? Is it an investment problem? Or is just the players themselves who just did not turn up for games?
For me, I think that, it's majorly, I would say it's just set up. Because, for example, now, if you look at the game against Benin Republic, the way Lookman positioned in Atlanta is actually different from the way he's positioned in that game. So his starting point in that game is different. So it's just the way it's a setup. So I don't think it's investment. We have the stats already. We just need a coach that can bring these guys together and actually make them play beautiful football. That is it. So I don't think it's purely investment. And talking about investment too, Rwanda invested in their football. You said earlier too, they play for APR of Rwanda, like Ngisha. All of them, most of them play for APR of Rwanda. In fact, the guy that scored the winning goal played for a 2nd division club in America. I think it's just, in our own case, we need to invest, but we need to also get a coach that can bring these guys together so they can actually deliver for us.
Okay. Austin, I mean, maybe you take it back from here, because some people are saying it's really not a coaching problem, but it could just be players who are not turning up to play games. So we saw what Kelechi Iheanacho played. We saw Victor Boniface not scoring. I mean, will a coach teach big boys like that who play for big clubs, who's scoring for their clubs, how to play football when they come to national team?
Let me go back to what I always say to sports administrators in Nigeria. Notice now I didn't say football. If we do not fix infrastructure problems, everybody is talking coach, players. How about that pitch in Uyo that the ball was bouncing as if it's on a bouncing castle? That's a problem itself. You cannot keep inviting players who play in Europe on professional top-class pitches, and then you bring them to a troubled ground and you expect to see the same quality. It's not going to work. I've said this over and over again, but why I try not to say it when there's a very terrible result like the one we saw against Rwanda, so the players won't come and have excuses. But time and time again, basic horizontal run into the space play, I see it, and the movement of the ball doesn't make it happen for the players. That's a big problem, and we must fix it. 2, people can come for the coach easy peasy because, yes, everything rises and falls on leadership. But what type of coach do you have? Austin Eguavon has done us good as a country. Yeah. Whenever there's a problem, that's the man that we run to. That's the man that we use. And he has tried until yesterday. The start was 22 games, 3 draws, and 4 defeats. And that's pretty decent. Yeah. That's not bad. Now, it's 23 games and 5 defeats. And everyone is coming for this man who most of the time, all we do with him is on interim capacity. What time does he have to prepare the team? Mentally, what sort of ownership does he think he has over the team? What about administration? Why are we acting like we don't know there are difficult people to work with in the NFF? All of these are problems. I'm the only person who has been telling them that the problems that we encountered under Gernot Rohr, if we do not fix it, then we will still be in serious trouble. Lai, that's where we are at the moment. I understand it's a combination of all of the problems. But with this now, should we just say goodbye to the World Cup and just focus on the AFCON?
Yeah. For me, I think, in Nigeria, it is not over until it is over. We can't just say bye-bye to the World Cup. Bye-bye. We can't say that. We don't give up easily. So for me, we have been in like a more difficult situation than this. I remember in 2001 when we lost, I think we lost away to Syria alone. That was in Freetown. And now we've got like 3 games to play. We got in the late Shabu Amodu. We had to go to Omdurman to beat Sudan. We need to beat group leaders Liberia at home and also Ghana in the final game. We did it. We got 9 from 9, and we qualified for the World Cup. And this one, we have like 6 games to actually play. We have 6 games to play. So, and we are just 4 points, of the leaders. So that means that, a win or a draw or a lose by South Africa or Rwanda, we are back in the mix. So Nigerians, we don't keep up. So for me, I would not say it is over for the World Cup. I think that we can still qualify. Well, we need to start winning games now.
But you know what? I'm just going to hold on to this, your optimism. It's such a good one. Thank you so much, Lai Babalola, for your time on the show. We hope to have you again. Join us to talk sports on Sports Tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So that's it. Football analyst Lai joining us from Manchester. Let's go to Lagos. Kende Idris, do you also belong to the group of optimistic Nigerians that believe we can still qualify for the World Cup despite all of these disgraceful, shambolic displays?
I am one very optimistic person, but on this one, I think I'm far from being optimistic. See, when you're optimistic and you're not having, being realistic with it, I think you're on the wrong path. And if we're being realistic, I watched Nigeria against Benin. I watched Nigeria against Rwanda. Austin, Ademola Lookman will be there. Moses Daddy Simon, Victor Osimhen, Boniface, Chukwueze, Ndidi, Iwobi. This same set of players see, I'm not seeing anybody that is new in the world that will now come and join the Super Eagles to have something different. And the coaching, it doesn't look like anything will change soon. Instead, we will do another chop and change, just adjust and all of that before March. Nothing looks like it's going to change. So why will I risk my heart in putting myself in a place where it's so precarious and then it will get broken and I'll feel bad? So I'll go into that. Still a Nigerian. If it gets to happen, I'll be happy. But I'm staying on the path of safety. It doesn't look like it. Because now we are going into a space where it is win, win, win all the way. Life finished by saying, if South Africa loses and Rwanda drops that, that is, our fate is already in some teams' hand. What if they do not? That means we can continue winning and never meet any of them, because they are also doing their own business in their own end. It's as simple as that. And I was talking about investment. We were here on this show, and I mentioned as of March, if I'm mistaken, then it will be April. But I know it's not beyond March, April. That Rwanda in the last 3 years have spent over $58 million on football investment. Now, this is what investment does. You see, this is our quick fix. Get these boys, we'll give them this so that they can win this game. It does not do anything for Nigerian football. It has never. But you see that constant welfareism. They know what they will get. They are coming to the best pitch. The facility is this night. Ronaldo was complaining about the facilities in Manchester, and some people called him out. At the end of the day, we are seeing that directly these facilities have its own effect on how the players come out to perform. You can mention a whole lot, but these are things that come together. Like we always say, Cecilia, 70% of the results you see on the pitch, it has happened before the game is even played. 30% is what we watch. The administrators in Nigeria, I will say it and I will say it continually. The only people who do not respect and love Nigerian football is those who own Nigerian football, who are the administrators.
Okay, full stop. All right, win all your games and you get a World Cup ticket. That's easy. But let's just take a look at other games that were decided this evening and how those teams actually made it to the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco in winter. Egypt and Botswana ended 1-0. Mauritania and Cape Verde are not coming for the Nations Cup this time around. Cote d'Ivoire, despite qualifying a long time ago, beating Chad by 4-0. And of course, Zambia went to Sierra Leone and they won 2-0. That's coming from Group C and, of course, Group G. Just some of the results of the games that happened earlier today. You have other games. Tanzania beating Guinea by a lone goal. Ethiopia beating DR Congo by a lone goal. Cameroon beating Zimbabwe by 2-1. Those two teams qualified for that. And Kenya and Namibia, not in the Nations Cup, both ended goalless. And Congo and Uganda beating Congo by a lone goal. And South Africa beating South Sudan 3-0. South Africa already qualified before this game, and that's in Group K. All right, we'll end the Nations Cup here and quickly talk about the Young Africa Player of the Year. CAF Awards, but we'll start off with the Young Africa Player of the Year. Karim Konaté of Cote d'Ivoire, who plays for Salzburg, is one of those that have been nominated. Yuman Diakite, also of Cote d'Ivoire, played for Rennes in France. Yakubu Minted from Gambia, who played for Brighton in England, and Elise Bentegi of Morocco, playing for AS Monaco, also nominated for this. Of course, you have Lamine Camara, Senegal, who played for AS Roma. So these are the players, Young Player of the Year. For Club of the Year, you have Al Ahly of Egypt, Zamalek of Egypt, RS Berkane of Morocco, Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa, and Esperance Sportive de Tunisia of Tunisia, Esperance of Tunisia. So these make up the Club of the Year. For the Goalkeeper of the Year, Andre Onana. I don't know what he's doing there, but plays for Manchester United of Cameroon. Yeah, Fofana of Cote d'Ivoire, who played for Angers in Scotland, and Mustafa Sobeya of Egypt, of Al Ahly, of course, Stanley Wambali, Nigeria, Chupa United in South Africa, and Rowan Williams, South Africa, plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. Complete that Goalkeeper of the Year. For Inter-Club Player of the Year, Isafo Dayo of Burkina Faso, RS Berkane, Ahmed Said Zizo, Zamalek in Egypt, Hussein Sahat of Egypt, Al Ahly also, Mustafa Sobey, Al Ahly of Egypt, and of course, Rowan Williams, South Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns. These are our players of the National Team of the Year. Of course, you have Cote d'Ivoire, DR Congo, Nigeria, South Africa, and Sudan. These are the National Team of the Year nomination. And of course, for Player of the Year for men, Simon Adingra of Brighton, Cote d'Ivoire. So what this guy did at the Nations Cup. Guirassy of Guinea, plays for Borussia Dortmund. Ashim Yekimi, of course, of Paris Saint-Germain, playing for Morocco. Ademola Lookman of Nigeria, Atalanta. We saw what he did with Atalanta, of course, at Europa League. And Rowan Williams of South Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns. So you can easily say, where would this go to? Maybe this, who knows? That's the Player of the Year for men. Austin, this one means Is it so easy to actually pick out, or is it difficult? The goalkeeper of the year, I think maybe there's a name that shouldn't be there, but that name is actually there. But hey, taking a look at what we have here, where will this go? Or wait for the final three to really talk about this?
We'll wait for the final three, but easy peasy. I've been saying it that Ademola Lookman will win it.
Yeah.
There will also be Simon Adingra in there and Roland Williams. Williams has shown a lot of quality, has shown leadership. He's calm, he's intelligent. I think he is the catalyst behind that.
The goalkeeper of the year will go to him.
Yeah, it's just rather unfortunate that people will not talk about him because he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And maybe when they give him goalkeeper of the year, they will not, consider him for the main award. But I think Williams is a fantastic goalkeeper because he's got quality reflexes. His command of the game is awesome. He's just a fantastic player in and out, and I like him so much. And for the young player of the year, I don't really big up young players and push people to go on to win it. I like the fact that we're encouraging players who are coming up. We're talking about what's happening at the grassroots, but then again, there's no Nigerian player in there. It tells you that we're not building. And when you take a look at the 5 clubs for the club of the year, tell me, in what way do we come close to any of those 5 clubs when you put our clubs side to side? Those things, the young player of the year and club of the year, should charge us that we are not doing any work and we should start working.
Start working. Which young player of the year? You mentioned a name, right?
Yeah. His performance last year, well recognized around Lamine Kamara.
Thank you.
I think for me,
give it to him already.
Yes.
No contest.
Fantastic young man. And you were talking about goalkeeper and also player of the year, Ronwen Williams. If you do not know anything about him, just listening to Stanley Owabale after the semi-final, Stanley said the reason why he had tears in his eyes after that game is the fact that we all look up to Ronwen Williams in South Africa. For me to be adjudged better than him in this game, then it means something to my entire career. That is the position Ronwen has taken himself. So, Ademola Player of the Year, Ronwen.
Let's quickly wait to Ademola's Player of the Year. Let's quickly move to the CAF Women's Champions League. Yeah, we are smiling. Yes, they had a good run, especially sending out, when the sun came down on Mamelodi Sundowns, the last time, they were the ones responsible for that. But against TP Mazembe, they couldn't just hold it up to the final moment. We'll just take a look at confirmation of the results. They will be facing FC Massa in the third place match and see where they can go from there. We'll just take a look at how it all pans out earlier today, talking about the CAF Women's Champions League. Edo Queens and TP Mazembe, after 90 minutes, it was 1-1. They had to go into extra time, and it ended 3-1. So for Rabat women, that's ASPA, they were able to beat Massa FC of Egypt 2-1. And it simply means TP Mazembe and ASPA would be playing in the final, while Edo Queens and Massa women would be playing for a third place match. Remember that third place match, how much they're going to get if they finish fourth? 350 quid. And if they finished third, that's 400. That's a lot for Edo Queens. I hope they can actually invest that well. Just a quick one. I'll ask you here, because Austin talked about Edo Queens earlier. It was a good one or a bad one. TP Mazembe, coming from a go down to be able to win 3-1. A quick one on this one.
Yeah, Cecilia, as much as, I want to applaud the run of Edo Queens, I saw that with also Bayelsa Queens the last time. This is the continent. I talk about consistency. You come, you learn your lessons, and then you come back to be a bigger girl. Who is coming to represent us next? That is the big question. We've had 4 editions of the CAF Women's Champions League. Nigeria has had 4 representatives. 3. Rivers Angels has come twice. There is Delta.
No, Rivers Angels won.
Rivers Angels.
Delta did not qualify. They went to Wafu.
Yes, they didn't qualify. Delta were supposed to
go last time.
So we've had 4 CAF Women's Champions League, and we can say, if Delta Queens had qualified, we would have had 4 representatives. Yeah. That means we've not had any of our team come twice. ASFA has been here for all editions. Sundowns women. And they've been the winners over time. And it looks like ASFA might just win this again because they've come, they've learned.
There's no Sundown to stop them.
There is no Sundowns to stop them. Now, Edo Queens has come, they stumbled, probably they'll win the 3rd place or something. Who is going to represent us next? I'm not saying you should be shady, but there should be clubs or a club in our football, both male and female. It also happens to the male, that are super consistent every year. And if you do that, you will get to that point where you start winning, easily. Okay. But this time we'll come struggle. Edo Queens cannot tell me they know this terrain. They've never been here. So they are playing so many of these teams for the first time. Okay. Hopefully we'll get to that point. But the promise
Let's quickly talk basketball, because I know we can spend time to talk about when they play the 3rd place match. We'll come here to digest everything. All right, talking about basketball, Rivers Hoopers again won the Nigeria Basketball Federation Final 8. The one in the last time, they're always winning it. There's no competition. According to most of the players. They're just there. They played 12 games and we have a winner. Austin, 12 matches played the whole from January to December. You have the groups, the Atlantic Conference, they play 8 matches. The final 8, they played 4 matches. That's how it's been. But Rivers Hoopers, they are winners. Quickly, we'll just listen to the coach, Ogo Daudo and Peter Olisamaka, talking about this particular championship. Also, commending the fans for coming out to support them. We saw the joy and happiness, how the fans felt when they were watching the game. They definitely enjoyed themselves.
Like I told them from the beginning of the bird, I didn't like their body language. They were feeling so confident, and I kept on telling them. And so as the game began, they saw that, hey, this is going to be a difficult task for us. So I had to keep on yelling at them, keep on shouting at them, and eventually they picked up and we closed out the game. Well, it's natural with players. Once they leave one team and they come and play them again, they want to prove a point. We like the competition. He allowed us to step up a lot too. So all is well with it today. I'm happy for them too, that they got this far this year. And hopefully we'll see what happens next season. The fans are tremendous. Their impact was really, really huge. I wish I could do a lot for them, but we're going to find a way to reward our fans for supporting us like this.
We need more sponsors to keep investing. Like we've done great to make results with whatever we've been given. So the more the better, but we will push regardless of everyone. Like they've done a great job so much. The fans have been amazing. Everyone's been great. So for me, it's been a great atmosphere. Very, very much appreciated. They brought so much energy. From the start, even before coming, they've been support messages, Instagram, everything. It's nothing but love. So really appreciate the fans and everyone for all the support. We surprised the continent for the very first time, but now we're coming back. We're better prepared and hopefully a big or better result. We're not settling for anything less, so we're looking for the best possible result for the next round of the bar. We'll push and we'll aim for the best. We'll aim for something better than last year was 3rd, but we'll aim for best. That's the 1st place. That's the aim. That's the target. So we'll push for this.
We had too many turnovers. We could not really take care of the ball when necessary. We had a lot of flops. I don't know. Maybe it's due to overconfidence. My players want to do too much. And I think it's something we have to go back, work for it. Let's see how I can take some for next season. I think that's the useful exuberance. They want to show you they can do too many. But just when I say the ball is too hot. So they need to understand one thing. Life is not about easy does it. You can't rush things. You can't rush it. We need to stay calm. We need to look for what works for us. And hopefully, maybe next year, at least from here now, they will know that life is not about rushing. You take this easily.
They were rushing, meeting Rivers Hoopers. With those players who are playing in BAL, with the experience and everything, they are younger. Hoops and Reed, club owned by Olumide Oyedeji, former captain of the Nigeria national team. So, final results of what happened in the final 8 of Basketball African League. Rivers of Nigerian Basketball League. Rivers Hoopers 71 and Hoops and Reed 54. 3rd place match, Boko City Chiefs, who were in the final last time, couldn't make it to the final. Rivers Hoopers stopped them in the semi-final. They played against Nile University. This ended 63-60. Austin, we have to go.
Yeah, the Hoops and Reed coach, I was just telling him that, look, leave the boys alone. They need to play more basketball, and they will get enough experience. So That's a clarion call to administrators that they need to get the basketball environment busy. As Sheodiko said on the show, let's stop consuming and start producing. I love it. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, how can you play? How can you play 12 games and call yourself the national champion? That's the reality of us. It's good to be here.
I'm going to leave you with, of course, the trophy presentation, the excitement that followed the final 8 of Nigeria basketball after 90. After how many games? Yeah, after 12 games. Yeah.